I'm getting some gear too. Hey, cause y'all owe me some money last night. But yeah, they definitely.
Hey, so here's the thing. Going to Jason Rosario, I was super hyped about the fight because of what Jason Rosario did to J-Rock in his previous fight. So I'm like, okay, this dude's big for the weight, like Jermel Charlo. Dude can punch hard, like Jermel Charlo. Like, this might be some fireworks. And not to say that this dude went out there and threw, the kitchen sink at Jermel, but Jermel ate some shots last night. And he showed that, I'm going to eat these and I'm going to keep doing what I need to do to win, So that, if anything, you're talking about things that they're not showing us anything that we didn't know. I don't think, it's not that I didn't know that he could take punches, but I think last night it showed that, he just was not fazed by a guy who literally was thumping J-Rock. J-Rock was kind of like all over the place when he was getting hit by Jason Rosario, and Charlo didn't he didn't flinch. Yeah. He didn't take the punches the way that J-Rock did.
That Iron Man name is legit.
Absolutely, showing up.
Yeah, I think they need better nicknames. I think they're elite fighters. I don't love either nickname though.
Just go by Lions Only in the ring.
Yeah.
Just Jermel Lions Only, Charlo
Lions Only Lions.
Yeah.
Just flop it, but no, they're both great fighters. I don't love the nickname.
The question is, who fights Jermel next?
Laura.
Yeah, Laura.
Well, Patrick Teixeira's the one fighter with a belt, but he's with Golden Boy, and I don't know if Golden Boy would be anxious to offer him up.
And so what's the dude's name?
Patrick Teixeira.
And doesn't the young dude over there have a belt too? The young guy over there.
Not Virgil. You're talking about Virgil.
No, not Virgil. His last name is, I think it starts with an M.
Pause.
A little star power. But maybe Laura?
Laura. I think Laura's the next guy for Jermel Charlo, especially if you're talking about a name, a fighter that nobody can argue with. You getting in the ring with Laura, nobody can argue with that, especially over you getting back in the ring with Tony Harrison for a third fight.
Or Lubin in a rematch.
I think people will want to see Laura before they see Lubin in the rematch.
Well, isn't he one of them guys, legacy-wise, you want to scratch off if you're in that Laura. Like, you want to have a win over Laura before you hang him up if you're a junior middleweight, right?
Canelo has a win over Laura.
Ooh.
I'll be honest, I'm not sure that.
You might not be able to go back to Mexico.
I've never been.
But that was a different Laura than the guy Jermel would be fighting.
Sure.
So, because that would you favor Jermel if he were to fight Laura because of that?
I favor Jermel over Laura now.
What, Prime?
Prime Laura, no. Jermel does not beat Prime Laura. Too much movement, too much skill, too much intelligence. Yeah.
Of course, like a lot of people said, Canelo didn't beat a Prime Laura.
No, that fight, that's one of those where there were decisions like the Timothy Bradley Pacquiao one was just silly.
Yeah.
But the Laura Canelo one is one that pops in my mind that I was mad afterwards.
It wasn't that bad, right, Ann?
It wasn't.
It wasn't that bad.
Hey, man. I'll take the L.
Pause.
But a little bit before camp. So, I do post-camp, pre-camp, all that kind of stuff. So,
this is Sean Porter,
so
y'all. Sean Porter.
Hypothetically, if I'm 6 weeks away from a fight, I probably would be doing power and stuff like that 10 weeks away from the fight. And then 8 or 7 weeks away from the fight, that stuff's all done. So we're doing some stuff now so that we can hopefully carry in more power going into the ring. Wade is breaking down to me what power actually is. Force times impact or something like speed times force is power.
Is it that PSI they always talk about?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So he's breaking it down to me, and he's showing me why we're doing the things that we're doing and all that. So, my hope is to, the next time I get in the ring, just be strong and do something that people haven't seen me do yet. And I've been able to do that time and time again now, and just trying to carry that on.
But, to close on any talks of Sean Porter and super welterweight, do you think, being that you've made this division over 10 years, that there's any way you could be a stronger, superior, better puncher at 154?
Yeah. If I'm being honest with you, that's the conversation that I brought to my dad. Moving up, I think I will be stronger. I think I will be able to do some things that I not necessarily can't do, but don't do at 147. I do remember this. When I moved down to 147, I watched a couple of 147-pound fights. And I moved down in like 2010. And I remember, I moved down, like basically 2010 going into 2011. And I remember thinking these guys are fast. I got a bunch fast. And I spent a lot of time when I first moved down to 147 in the gym with my dad saying, you need to put more power on your shots. You're punching with nothing but speed. But it was just something, a conscious decision or unconscious decision that I made that these guys are fast, I gotta be fast. And it was like, just taking something off of it. So it's almost like we're kind of like really just putting everything back together, and trying to make it work.
Were you guys impressed by Jermel Saturday night? It seemed like the main event delivered. Maybe.
Okay. I'm trying to get to the part where Sean Porter is asked, would he possibly want to fight with Jermel Charlo? And he's, and I'm doing this because I saw a lot of videos that said Sean Porter calls out Jermel Charlo. And I watched this whole video and I didn't hear him call Jermel Charlo out, not one time. It's actually a 2-part video and I watched both. He basically, like as a possible opponent, just like they talked about, Lubin in a rematch, Lara, he never called out Jermel Charlo. So when I saw that, I thought maybe it's a video that I didn't see. So I looked and I went through everything. And this video was 2 parts. And this one right here, he's basically talking about the win that Jermel Charlo had over Rosario, and how he thought it was going to go, but he never called him out. Anyway, if Sean Porter does go back to 154, maybe we'll see it, maybe we won't, who knows, assuming that Charlo is still champion and, how things go personally, even at 154, if he goes back up, personally, I'm going with Charlo over Sean Porter. If that did happen, hopefully we get to see it one day. But I definitely wanted to get to that part where he was asking questions because, I'm not really making this video to debunk what other channels are making in that regard, but he never called him out. So when I put this video up, I'm not going to say Sean Porter calls out Jermel Charlo because he didn't. Pause. Yeah, like I said, y'all, he never called Jermel Charlo out. So just giving y'all the heads up. And I'm not, if you want to watch whoever video, I would never tell you, don't watch this person's video. Got the freedom to watch whatever y'all want, man. But yeah, he never called him out. That's not a fight I really thought about. And nothing's etched in stone about him going back up in weight. He said he talked about that with his father. He feel like he'll be stronger at 154, and maybe he will. I still don't think he beats Jermel Charlo, but like I said, hopefully we'll get to see. Lara versus Charlo, I'm definitely going with Charlo. We look at the people that's out there right now that's available for Jermel Charlo, and how soon fights are made, we don't know. And this pandemic avoids a lot of things from happening that we want to see. But that particular fight right there is not something, like I said, that I actually thought about. Looking at the fights that's going on, I know that I saw, I think November 27th, Danny Jacobson, Gabriel Rosado. They're supposed to fight. I'm not really big on Rosado. I'm not impressed by Rosado. I guess, hey, fighters got to stay active, got to stay busy. So, and you got to fight who's available, or you sit it out and wait, which, is not always a good thing. But at the same time, right now you're going to see a lot of comparisons with both Charlos, after the performance that they just put up and the position that they're in right now. They're the most talked about fighters right now in boxing. So see what happens and what develops. People was talking about Canelo versus Charlo, but Jamal, but Canelo right now has he sued the zone again. He, put a lawsuit on with the zone, and when you're going through something like that, it's not, I mean, as far as training and keeping in shape, that's one thing. But as far as focusing on a particular fight, I don't think we're going to see anything anytime soon. If and when that fight happens, I don't think it'll be anytime soon. Handle that legal stuff, get that out the way. So you come into the fight focused. Nobody wants to come into the fight half-assed, and oh, my mind wasn't there. I was focusing on this and that, and it's not going to cut it. So yeah, but Erickson Lubin, I think Jermel beats him again. I think he knocks him out again. Erickson Lubin is a good fighter. The way he got knocked out by Jermel the first time, things do happen. I just think Jermel has his number though. I think he knocks Erickson Lubin out again. And Erickson Lubin is a good fighter. And I remember people saying, a couple of people saying, that, oh, Erickson Lubin, he pretty much lost because he was a smaller guy. Well, he's in that division now. So to keep saying, he was a smaller guy, hey, it's not going to change it. You got in the ring. And Jermel, the way he looked, as long as fighters stay hungry, they stay focused, they can stay injury free, or at least don't have injuries that bothers them to where they can't perform. If a fighters stay focused, man, they're gonna be hard to beat. I mean, he right now, especially like with what he just accomplished, it's hard to get with you, to the point that they got to. Now to stay there, they're gonna be just as hard, So, like I said, man, a guy can look spectacular today, fight next week, and get knocked out. So you never know. I just wish him well. Erickson Lubin is a good fighter. I like him as a fighter too. He's a slick fighter, but I don't see him beating Jermel. But again, like I said, hopefully we get to see. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say in this video. Just remember, never fall in love with lies. And remember, the truth brings hate out of people. Catch y'all on the next one.